It's got me going. Recording in progress. I already was recording. I try not to record when I'm playing music because sometimes they flag me for playing unlicensed music and then they take down the video. So that's why I always hit the pause. All right. So action step, just say sharing your app. Get in the habit of sharing it with 10 people every day. Okay. Your marketing profile. They should be complete at this point. Right? Your marketing profile should have your headshot, your bio, your contact information, your market center logos, any team logos. That should all be done at this point. We've been talking about this now for a better part of 2 weeks. We're kind of there. We're kind of there at that point now, right? Good. And bringing a listing or an address to be ready to go for today's class, and we'll utilize it tomorrow too. Designs. So we start talking about the difference. There's designs and there's Canva. I have worked with a lot of teams in the region, and I have seen marketing people on teams start to stop paying for Canva and utilizing designs because there are 1,500 different templates that are in there and all the listings are there. So it's a great time saver for them and for you in utilizing that platform without going third party, right? Now, Canva is a third party. We brand as our partner in this particular endeavor at this point. So designs, you'll notice when you log in kind of spins for a second because we are leaving the KW command platform, although they are integrated through what we call an API in the back end. So things are all tied together. Inside of designs, okay, you're going to have the ability to create a video, not the video that you think like on YouTube or a Loom video or things like that. I'll show you that in a second. Social posts. Am I going to post something on Instagram, Facebook, right? Do I need to print something, a listing presentation, a magazine, a buyer presentation? Do I need to send emails? They're in there as well. And an import. Now, if you had created something on Canva and you were to load it in your system to share it, you can import that PDF directly inside of Command too. And the cool thing is if it's the original source, and by that I mean if you created it in Canva, you didn't actually just go scan it off the glass, designs will break it apart and allow you to actually edit it. It won't be perfect, but it actually works very, very good. So there's a PDF editor like you would experience if you were using Adobe or some sort of Photoshop editing tool inside of Command. We won't be able to break all of this down today. So we're going to focus on a couple of items that you're going to use regularly right out of the gate. And then you're just going to have to kind of throw yourself into it. And there'll be some future classes and some of the advanced stuff to kind of take you to the next level. All right, so we're going to jump right in. Everybody logged into their command at the moment, right? As you should show up ready to go, right? Logging into command, you should all be there. Click on the red KW on the upper left-hand side. As you scroll down, you will see towards the bottom a little paintbrush on canvas. That's designs, okay? So go ahead and click on that and enter your designs portfolio. Now, if you haven't used designs yet, you will not see all the things that you're seeing on my screen because these are my things that I've created in the past, my templates. Okay. Now it's going to tell you if you haven't created your marketing profile to create your marketing profile. It says it right there at the top. Now, if you have created it like me, it may still say that. That's okay. Now, across this, you'll be able to search if you've created things before by filter these out by emails, social prints, and video. Now, you won't see anything there if you haven't created anything yet. These you're only seeing here under types of what you may have created.
Are you sharing your screen?
I'm going to say that no, if you're asking me that question. I'm a little off today. There we go. Hey, if I'm ever doing anything, you're not seeing it, please speak up because I've been talking for about 5 minutes now. Designs on the left, you're on this home screen. So your home screen looks different than mine. Once you start creating things, you can filter by type under the all types filter. Okay. Now, in order to create a design, whether it's social, print, video, you got to hit that teal, green, blue button in the upper right-hand side, create design. And the first thing you're going to do right now is you're going to create a video. Has everybody got their hair and makeup ready to create a video? George, you ready? All right. So I want you all to click video right now. It's going to start recording you right away. So if you're a little anxious, no, I'm messing with you all. Relax. It's not going to record anything. It's not going to be on you. No screen time, no FaceTime for you. Guys are simple. It's easy. Over the head. All right, go to video. Click on video right now. Everybody does it. Click on video, unless you don't trust me. Click on video. And then what you're going to see is a screen that says search for neighborhood. I want you to search for your neighborhood. Okay. Or use the one that I'm doing. Doesn't matter. So there's actually a neighborhood in Arlington called Donaldson Run. You didn't know I was famous, did you? Donaldson Run. You're going to see it right here at the top. So I want you to select that or select your neighborhood. Remember, it's looking at neighborhoods. It's not looking at HOAs. It's not looking at the MLS. It's looking at those next door neighborhood boundaries. Right? But you should see most things should show up. But you're also seeing places around the United States because you're not limited to your local MLS, right? So go ahead, create next. Oh, select it first. There you go. Make sure the little check mark is there next to it. Then select next. Okay. Now what's going to happen, because it's linked to the MLS and those boundaries are in there from next door. Okay. You're going to see average home price. It's going to tell you the prices are on the rise. It's going to say the average price square foot. It may say that it's holding steady, going down or on the rise. You can edit these, right? How many of homes are for sale and the average days on market in that neighborhood. Now, tech happens. You may know the neighborhood different. Things happen quicker than sometimes things update. If you feel the need to change these statistics because you're looking at the MLS at the same time, you can do that. Right? Or you can just trust what the system's putting in it. Your consumers aren't going to know that there's actually 9 homes versus 10, or the average days on market is 52 versus 55 because the recent sale changed everything. Some agents are hyper specific to that. You can go in and change those numbers if you went and pulled that live data from the MLS. Entirely up to you. Then it's going to say, hey, this neighbor has 3 features. Well, this information actually pulls from a third-party integration into Nextdoor that the neighborhood people have said these are things that we're interested in. Well, you can change that, right? You can only pick 3. The 3 defaults are there, right? And you can scroll through this list, okay, and add whatever's there. And you just have to kind of scroll through see what's in that area, right? And customize it to what you think you know to be true about that neighborhood. Your agent information is going to pull. Who knows where this is pulling from? If you had to guess, where's this pulling from? Anybody?
Command.
Command, but where in command? What have we
Your
been
marketing profile.
There you go. Boom. Somebody get her a pair of socks. Marketing profile. Yes, it is pulling from your marketing profile. And for whatever reason, my phone number didn't pull, so you can update that. Okay. Your market setting information also is pulling from your marketing profile. So that is there for you. Make sure that's all there, ready to go. Click next. And then you're going to generate your video. So I want you to all mute yourselves. Give it 30 seconds to load the video that you all just created. Okay. Takes about 60 seconds to load, depending on how fast your internet speed is wherever you're at. And then once it's loaded, I want you to hit the play button. Is everybody seeing their video? Did it all load? You wait another second here for it to load. Like I said, give it about 60 seconds and then watch it. 1 second. Go to my secondary systems. Can you guys hear me okay? I get a thumbs up. All right, perfect. Thanks. Did you guys all watch your video or watch my video? Right? So it pulled all the data in. It took you guys, what, a grand total of about 60 seconds to create that thing? And now you're all going to see that on your home display, right? So on your own screens now, if you filter by video or from your home screen, if you haven't created anything else, it'll be the first thing in the upper left. And then you're going to have these 3 dots where you can click share on social, right? Now we're going to jump into share on social tomorrow, but if your Facebook business page is connected and you click share on social, you could take that video, trim it all out, write a little text around it.
David, I'm sorry, after you went back to the home site, where are we supposed to see that?
Right here on your home screen. You guys all created it. It should be on your home dashboard. Did you guys all hit save after you created your video? Or you can filter by video type and you'll see it here as well.
All right, I got it.
Okay, perfect. Click the 3 dots, share on social, which I already did. And then we'll go in a little deeper dive tomorrow because we're doing campaigns tomorrow. But here's how this would work, right? Would you like to see a custom video for your neighborhood? Right? And on the right-hand side, this is the video that would actually go to my Facebook business page if your page is currently connected, which we'll jump into more time tomorrow, right? I can click publish immediately. Okay. Publish post. And I will share with you just so you see it on my Facebook page. Sometimes it takes a minute, but I just want to show you that it will go pretty quickly. It just didn't load yet. I'll have to come back to it because it's a video. Facebook has to approve it. Sometimes it takes a couple of ticks of time, but it'll load directly right here onto my Facebook business page. We'll come back to it. But that's how quickly and easily you can create something and post something of value directly. And you'll see that as my schedule is telling me that it's getting ready to go. I'll let that sync up. But that's how quickly you can create something and then post something directly to the internet. So that's workshop item 1 for today, creating a video. So what you do is you can create these, right? You can share them. You can build them for multiple neighborhoods, right? You can send them out in campaigns, which we'll talk about tomorrow. If I had a group of people in a particular neighborhood, I could earmark it to them, right? If I had created my Facebook list around specific communities and neighborhoods, I could share them to that targeted audience because you guys now all know how to create Facebook lists, right? And these update every month. So every month they update every month in that you have to go recreate them every month. Like just because I created Donaldson Run, there's not going to be an automatically created Donaldson Run for next month. So every month you would just go and you would create a new one for around those featured neighborhoods that you want to create a video around. But you saw how quick and easy those were to do. Any questions around creating one of these cool little videos?
I have a quick one. When I was doing my video and I picked a neighborhood, it showed that the price was much lower than what it should be. So do I plug that price in?
Trust
The
but
average price?
verify. Yeah.
What'd you
So
say?
that's what I was touching. Like, go ahead if you know that it's off, right? Because I'm not exactly how far back or how quickly they're updating all their background data on that. Use your MLS and run a parallel search and update the information that you believe to be true.
Perfect. Thank you.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, we want it to be as accurate as we can, right? Our consumers aren't going to necessarily know that we're off, but if it's off a lot, go ahead and clean it up. Good question. All right, so next we're going to go ahead and create a new design. Well, actually, what we're going to do is we're actually going to go into designs. But first, we're going to do is we're going to tell it that we want to create a print. Okay, so I want you to go and click Create Design, click Print. And the reason there's a difference here is because there are 1,500 different templates in here. And based off of what you tell it you're trying to create, you'll see customized sizes based around social or print. So there's different types. So that's why it's specific. Click Continue. Now, when I go in and I click, you'll see that's redirecting me to WeBrand. I told you that's our third-party partner in all of this. Okay, we'll give that a second to load. All right. Now, across the top, you're going to see templates, designs, and assets. Down the left, you're going to see different types of print material based off of what you're trying to create for a particular advertisement. But before we even take a look at any of these, what I want you to do is take notice that the last toggle here says asset. Does everybody see assets? Okay. You have to go in. Let's take a look at your assets. Okay. So I want you to click on that right now. Click on assets for your profile. Okay. Now, when you come in here, this is your brand. Remember, part of the great things about being with Keller Williams Realty is the ability to brand and market yourself and your business, right? Did you guys all read the marketing material that I sent you yesterday and told you to read that 33-page document? I know you all went home and read that, right? Yeah, I know. I know how that goes. It's kind of like reading TV instructions when you're going to set up your new television. You all read all that. I know. So in here, you get to upload your own brand, right? So check it out. You've got color palettes that you can create, right? Create new colors. And I can select them off a grid, okay? Or I can put in the RGB, or I can put in the HSL, or I can put in the hex code, okay? So if you're into graphics, you know that each of those are different codes for a specific color type. If you're not, then you can just grab the color off of the grid. Say, I like this color. I like that red, okay? And I like that teal. And I like this orange. Whatever. And you're creating your own color palette, and you can say, hey, I can rename that, and this is my luxury color palette. Right? These are the colors I want to use for my luxury listing. So these are the colors that are my personal brand. Whatever that is, you can create your own color templates. Okay. You also have these different web fonts. If there are specific font types that you like, you can upload or choose web type fonts that you want to use in your regular texting as you're building out different things. So you can go in and you can search through these, right? Now there's some defaults in there, right? That you can see. You can turn them on, okay? And add them to your screen. Or you can upload, if you have any, this little upload button, where you can go search for font types, download them to your PC, and upload whatever font codes you want. Personal preference and choice in your marketing, right? You guys all still with me right now? Creativity. Some people are creative and some are not, and that's okay. So that's where some people go, what are you talking about? Some people are like, this is awesome. I love this. It all depends on who you are. Okay, I'm kind of in the middle. I like some of this, but some of it I'm like, hey, whatever. Now that's colors and fonts here on the left. Then you've got images, right? Now your image, your agent photo, if you had loaded it to your marketing profile, will pull in, okay? If you didn't, then it will be blank. If you need to upload additional images of yourself, you can do that right here through the upload button. Upload your photographs, right? And you see, I've got the equal housing opportunity logo. I've got the realtor logo. I've got a couple of QR codes that I've generated. And I threw them in there because they're images that I use on different pieces. Okay. Like this one's kind of me, kind of leaning, posing, relaxing, chill. It's my chill photo, right? So you can load your different personal imagery under images. Text, you've got default text that you use in your everyday business. Your name, your contact information, your website, your phone number, your business address for the market center, the name of your market center, right? All of that, you can create new fields. Hypertext quick fields that you repeat often. Maybe it's a slogan, right? Maybe it's a tagline. Whatever it is, anything you feel like you repeat often that you need to add, you can create fields around. Straightforward, fairly simple. New field, add that information. Logos, right? Your marketing logo for your market center will load if it is in your marketing profile. Now, yesterday I showed you where to go in and download multiple versions of your market center logo. Yes? You guys remember that? Thumbs up, digital thumbs up, right? PNG and JPEG, right? You see them clear as day right here, the two differences, right? White box, what is a white box?
JPEG.
JPEG. What is this just clear overlay?
PNG.
PNG. That's the difference, right? And you don't have to be the techie to know that there's a difference, because I know there's times you guys have been creating things like, man, how do they get that clear background? And I have this stupid white box. Well, now you know. One's a JPEG, one's a PNG. So you have to use different file types. When you're loading your files, load multiple versions of them. Have one with a white box. Have one that's a PNG. And there are different color variants in your Market Center logos too. There's an all white, there's black, red, and gray, there's gray on gray. So play around with the different colors that you downloaded yesterday and load them into your system. If you're on a team, your team logos, your team marketer will have these too. Load your logos, upload here. Now, there's a couple other things that I'm not going to delve into too much, but some of you who really like to have things, there may be certain elements that you like to use regularly, right? Balloons, bubbles, stickers, objects, icons. You notice that I've got a whole bunch of them loaded here right now. That tells you how often I use these things. But for some of you, you can go in, you can click upload. If you have them on your computer or different file drawers, you can load that type of information, okay? Videos, this is relatively new, but if you have Loom links or YouTube channel videos that you've created, you can load them here that you can embed into some of your designs. And then you can have a file quick connector if you've got a Dropbox, right? Or OneDrive that you constantly are moving things back and from for, you can connect that file drawer here. So this is your marketing office. This is your marketing department. Get your images, get your quick fields, get your color schemes, load your Market Center logos, and build them in here so that they are accessible to you. Now, there may be other things that you use regularly. Maybe like we talked yesterday about banner images or monument pictures, right? Anything that you're going to use regularly, picture-wise, go ahead and upload it. So you don't always have to be going to find it on your computer, and bring that into images. Any questions around building out your personal brand?
I have one about the files. You had mentioned Dropbox and OneDrive. If I'm just using, instead of wanting to pay for those, can I just use Google Drive?
There's not a sync to Google Drive. Oh, actually, there is right here.
Oh, good. Okay.
Connect
Thank
to
you.
Google Drive. I just wasn't seeing it.
All right. Perfect.
Yeah, I don't use Dropbox anymore. Like Dropbox was the first one, right? It was free, and then you maxed it out super fast, and then you stopped using it. I got stuff in there I haven't looked at in probably 10 years. That's in some
Me
random
too.
Dropbox somewhere. All right, so those are your assets, right? Go ahead and load everything up in here. Now, we come back to templates. Okay, remember we told it we were doing print. So all of these are print type templates, right? And you see that across top. Postcards, flyers, postcards, postcards. The postcards are different sizes. And you hover over top of them, they give you information of what they are. 9x6, 11x6, or 8.5x5 flyers, right? On the left-hand side, well, I need a just sold. Okay. There is for sale. Oh, I got a bug. Just quick refresh. Sometimes tech happens. Right, Ted? There we go. Just needed to do a quick reset. So there's all these for sale, different templates in here. There are a boatload of templates in here. Okay. And the cool thing is that every one of these templates are open. So that means you completely edit them. Okay. Now, I'm going to just go do a print flyer for a just sold real quick. Let's just choose this one right here. It's going to click use. So I want you to pick one of those. Click use on one of those. And you're going to see this laid out in front of you. Now, do you remember when I told you to come with a listing today or an address? Everybody has one. Let me see your digital thumbs up. If somebody has an address, I want you to put it in chat for me. First person in chat wins. All right. Katie Hamilton. Katie Hamilton on 335 Hamilton Avenue. Isn't that quite the quinky dink? So check this out. So I have over here on the left-hand side, I have images, I've got text, I've got logos, I've got elements. And those are all things that I can edit and change on this design. I also have KWLS. KWLS is the KW listing service, which connects and pulls all listings from the MLS. In our neck of the woods in Northern Virginia, that's bright. Right? That can be variant depending on where you are. Maryland, DC, other parts of Virginia. But if I go in and I search for a property, where was that Hamilton Ave?
It's the third one.
Third one, this one right here, Portsmouth. So you'll see that shows up. Now, mind you, look, you're seeing here Ocean City, Piscataway, New Jersey. This is searching the entire MLSs, not just your local ones. So you got to be a little bit more specific. Then when I go ahead and select that, okay, watch what happens. All the listing pictures from the MLS jumped right into my system, just like that. Now tell me that's not cool. I dare you.
Can you go back and show how you got to the MLS in there?
You see this KWLS on your left-hand side? You see the left side of your screen? It says KWLS. David, was that you asking the question?
Yes, sir, I got it.
Okay. So when you go to KWLS, you search by address, or you search by ID number, or you search by agent. And then you select from that dropdown. Now, I want to change out this templated picture. When I click on it, see, I just click on it, it highlights in blue. And then I come over and I hover over top of the picture. That's the kitchen in the listing. And there's this little replace image circle. Does everybody see that? I don't want you to hit the plus button. I want you to hit the little circle button. Boom, done. Swapped it right out. Now I will tell you what a lot of people do is that they don't hit over here and then they choose the picture. I want this picture. And then it drops it on top of it and they go, that's not supposed to happen. It's supposed to swap it out. I saw Dave do it. Dave said swap it out. I swapped it out. I clicked the picture. You didn't. Okay. Ooh. Click on the picture and the image first on the template. Then come to the picture you want to put in. And then hit the replace button. And it'll swap it out and it'll size it in and it'll drop it right where you want it to go. The way that it's all built and supposed to be. Now, that's listing photos, but I also have listing details. So look, I have property address, price, year built, all that data is right there for me. And if I hit a plus button, it's going to drop it in. Or if I come over to here, like this box, I could swap them out. Now notice that this particular text box is 3 lines. These are 1 line at a time. So if I click that and I come over here and I click 3 bedrooms, all it does is change the 3. So typically what I like to do is under that box at the top, you see, and I want you all to click this when you click on the box. You see at the top, there's this little, what we call a WYSIWYG, the editor, right? What you see is what you get. There's a typewriter. See this little black and white? It's got a T, looks like a box. That's a typewriter. Does everybody see that? Thumbs up. The typewriter is important. The typewriter is your friend. I could click right in this box and I could edit and start typing. Some of the boxes are small, and I wear glasses. So I like this typewriter. So if I click typewriter, what happens is the second box pops up and I can just come right in here and I can change price. And see how it just changed like that. So you may not always want to replace, right? I like replacing images. When I do text, I like to use the typewriter box and retype because that's easier than going line by line and picking everything. So the more you play with the different templates and the design elements, you'll see some features work great the way to swap them out. Others, it's just easier just to type them sometimes, right? Property address up here is another example, right? Because the way that the property address pulls in this particular is I go swap, replace. That one actually worked pretty good, depending on how long it is, right? There we go. I just changed the box, and that's in there. So it's just, do I swap? Do I use my text box? Do I use my typewriter? There's no right or wrong here, right? Built in 2015, but we know here the year built is just a date. So I might just use typewriter there and leave the build in and just change the date to 1920. I hope you're all doing this right now. I want you to be playing around and editing this for the listing that you have, right? Watching me do it is great. I'm awesome at it, but it's better if you guys are actually hitting the keystrokes and doing these things. Who thinks this is hard? Easy, right? It's mindset. It's easy. Sean, say it's easy. She likes to talk and nobody hears what she's saying.
Hey, Dave, I have a question for you.
Go ahead, Crystal.
So, and this is not based off of this. This is pretty simple, but going back to the video that we had created, that content as far as days on the market, average price, price per square foot, how is that being compiled and where is that being pulled from? Because I can see where it says you can edit it, obviously. And I did see some people comment on your Facebook page that some of those metrics were wrong. So how do we go about and correcting that, or even, really should we be doing our due diligence first before we create a video and slap it up somewhere?
It's trust and verify, right? If you are okay with it, just run with it. If not, which most agents are not, they're going to go to their MLS, they're going to pull their own data and update the data accordingly.
Right, because I mean I guess the average pricing, the average price, and the days on the market part too. I think that those can be really skewed, right? From like, because I live in a rural area where there's a lot of farmland, and big parcels are for sale for like 200 acres, which sit on the market longer. So when I see those numbers, it's not like an enticing video. It's like this has been listed forever. So
and it's all relative to where you're selling, right?
Right.
Exactly.
Okay,
So
that makes sense.
Go into your local MLS, pull your own set of data, and verify.
Yeah, cool. But it was a super plug and play video. I loved it. I saw somebody comment on it, so I just wanted to say maybe us do our due diligence on that first.
Absolutely.
Dave, I have a question. When I was doing listing presentation, I used the one in designs, and I pulled a market snapshot for the neighborhood, and the numbers were way off. And there's no way to edit that in the snapshot. Why would they be so far like?
It's a little bit more compound than that. I agree with you. These need to be more open, but what you do is you'd have to put a white box and a text box on top of it to change.
But wouldn't that change the design then?
No, you just take your box and shrink it down.
Oh, okay.
You
Didn't
get
think of
yes,
that.
it's an imperfect system. They're
Okay.
working on getting faster, clearer, more up-to-date numbers, and that particular one needs to be more open and editable.
Yeah, the,
And
the problem was that it was off 120,000 for the average sales price.
right, but that's what, so what you just go, you add a little white box, you put it over the number that's there, and then you put a
Oh, I see what you're saying.
box, and then you change your own type.
Perfect. Okay, because I wanted the map. Ideally, what I did is I deleted the whole thing and just put a red box and typed my own information in.
Yeah. Sometimes you work with what you got, and then there
Okay.
is some imperfections and warts and what we're dealing with, and it's getting cleaned up and getting better.
Gotcha.
But there's workarounds to some of those things, right?
That's a good
That's why I want
workaround.
you guys to play with these editing tools and understand that you're not stuck inside a box. These are all completely editable. Some are easier to edit than others, but they're all completely editable to a degree. Does that make sense? All right, so look, also on the logo on the bottom right-hand side, so I just go ahead and swap that out, and it drops right in. Now, depending on the size of the image you load it in, you might have to play with it, stretch it, move it a little bit, right? But that's pretty cut and dry as what happens there, right? That's some pretty easy stuff. Now look, David.
So when you have the sold in blank number of days, like I have a listing that it was under contract in 22 days, but it's going to be 48 days before it sells. Which day am I allowed to use?
Check with your broker.
Okay.
Typically, this days on market that I use is active, but I always say check with your broker. All right, so you see that this default color here is red. And when I clicked on that, I see my little red box here at the top, right? I've got opacity, so I could kind of change. I could change the colors. I could click on the red. I could change it if I don't want to use the red. I could pick something from this drop down. You'll see here that I have my different template, right? My library color templates. Remember you built those, right? So I can go ahead and choose my library templated colors that I built out in my assets, right? That's whether you can edit those. Or there's this really cool element. Check this out. What if you decided that, hey, you know what? There's a really cool green or gray on this window. You guys see that trim and see how it's gray in the house? And you said, hey, I want to pull that gray into my color scheme. So I can go in here. I want to change this green. Go to the top. See this little, there's a little Doppler here. You guys all see this little teardrop Doppler? You click on that. Now I have this Doppler, and if I hold it over the gray and move it, do you guys all see what I'm doing? See how I'm moving it? And I like this gray trim right here, and I click. Boom. See how the color changed to the color? Yeah, I saw some eyes pop there. That's cool, right? So that little teardrop allows you to pick a color off of what you're working with and change it. And kind of tie it all together. It's the little things. It's the little nautical differences that exist inside of these design elements where you can play around. Now, I will tell you, you do have to be careful because this is completely open that I might drag and move this picture. Oh no, what did I do? You know, control undo your friends, right? That's up here, undo. Right, so if you move something by accident, because things do overlay with each other, I will tell you the first couple times you do this, you're going to get a little stressed and frustrated because you're going to be moving things around. Take your time. Here's where you're going to make a mistake. Tell me if I'm wrong here. It's Sunday. You're doing an open house at 1 o'clock, and then you realize at 11 o'clock you don't have a flyer. Who thinks they're going to be able to bang out a flyer real quick? First time. Not going to happen, and you're going to be upset and stressed. Plan accordingly. Play with these things in advance. Don't wait till you need it, because then it's too late. Because you're going to forget some of the things that we just talked about. Just being real, because those are the calls that I get on the weekends. And I, like a lot of your fellow Market Center Check trainers, aren't going to be readily available to put out a fire at 11 o'clock on a Sunday morning. Me personally, I'm probably at a hockey rink. Ted, he's off watching the Ravens at some sports book somewhere, right? Kevin may be able to. Kevin's probably getting ready to do his own open house. He's gonna be ready to go. So plan accordingly. Don't wait to the last minute, please. So that's creating a social. Then you would download it, okay? Save it to your desktop, create for printing, right? Now, what I do recommend, if you're sharing it, you want to post it to social media, that you download it first, and then we'll upload it in campaigns like we'll talk about tomorrow. Because if you download and you share directly from here, it comes up with a link and it looks a little wonky. But I always recommend download first, then upload to where you want it to go, okay? Before I abandon this beautiful lime green design, any questions on the design elements that I have on here? Right, be compliant. Don't get yourself in trouble with your broker. Any questions on it? You saw how easy this was, but I think you all understand that going in and playing around with it makes sense, right? All right. Now we're going to create another one. I'm not going to necessarily say the changes on that. It's going to bring me back out to my list. Okay. Now I want you to also, I'm going to do another print for you because I think this is something you all need to work on leading today's class. There are 3 things I'm going to show you. So we're going to go back into print. Continue. And we're going to show you where the listing and buyer presentations are, because there are templates in here for you to utilize for your listing and buyer presentations, but they take time, right? Build a template for yourself. On the left-hand side, under listings, right, there's listing presentation. Does everybody see that? I'm back in here. I'm under listing. I went into print. I'm on the left-hand side. It says listing presentation. Does everybody see a listing presentation? I want you to click on that. You're going to see 5 listing presentations.
Can you start over real quick? I'm sorry, I missed the beginning of. Can you start over?
How
on that
far
part?
back do you need to go?
Just to the beginning of where you pick the template. Okay, I see. We're under
Right.
template listing. Okay.
Create design. Go to print. Continue. On the left-hand side, under listing presentation, right? There's listing presentation. If I go to buyer, then you'll see a buyer presentation. There are 5 different types, and the types are just different on color and design. Okay, the interior, the layouts, the content is exactly the same. So you're just going to pick something that works for you. Now I will challenge you. You may want a couple different versions of this. If you're going to print these, which most of you will, I would shy away from this all black because you're going to use a lot of ink. Okay, so I kind of like these white backdropped ones. This one's a little bit more, so I'm going to go with this one. Now, I'm building a listing presentation right now. You would build a buyer presentation the exact same way, okay? And the reason I started with that postcard or that flyer looking one first is because it gives you the ability to get used to the editing tools. Now, this has more to it, but the editing tools are the same, okay? You've got your pictures. You've got your templates. So the templates are all the pages that are available to you inside of this listing or buyer presentation. Okay. Now you have to be deliberate because you don't have all of these in your design at the moment. Okay. You have to tell it what pages do you want to use in your presentation. Okay. So the first page is your title page. Okay. So I have that. The second page, if I click on that, is basically, it says buyer oh, I didn't realize I clicked buyer. I thought it was on a listing. My bad. Either way, it's a buyer consult page. This buyer consult page and I've seen this mistake happen so many times I can't count, is your instructions of how to work in this thing. This does not belong inside of the presentation. And I've seen people get mad at me because, why is this page in there? I sent it to my clients. I'm like, did you read it? Or did you just go in and select a bunch of things and walk out the door? And we all know the truth to that answer. So this tells you some things that you could do to incorporate inside of your presentation, right? Then there's another cover page as an example, right? Client name, you might decide that. You've got a table of contents, sound decision, right? So you can click on it and see it, but once you hit the plus button, it adds it to your file drawer, okay? Scroll down, and I might say, hey, you know what? Your home's wish list, typically what people are looking for at home. There's a lot of great default content in here, so you don't need to change a whole lot. Now, I'm in the buyer presentation. The listing presentation is more customizable, right? Because you're going to have to put details in about the home, address, photos, market stats, local stats, things about that particular property. The buyer side, which again may be easier as you're working on these, do the buyer presentation first, because the default content, right, may be easily to use. But here's what I want you to be conscious of, that these boxes, you can go ahead and click on these where they give examples, but maybe you don't like to say e.g., right? Maybe you want to type in specific examples, right? You can click in the box, or you can use your friend the typewriter, right? I don't like clicking and editing directly in the box. I like being able to see. So I like to go right in here. So maybe I don't want special arrangements, or maybe you do. I think they give good clarity, but some people don't like the way that looks and feels. Okay. I didn't make any changes, so I can leave that be. All right. Here's some how buying works, etc., etc. Now, these different things, maybe this pool picture doesn't work for me, right? I can go into images, okay? I can upload an image from my desktop, okay? There's Facebook images. I have workspace images because KW has provided you a whole bunch of free royalty stock pictures. So I can change this picture with a different picture for free. Right? We swapped them the same way that we swapped them. I clicked on the picture in the element. I came over here. I went to workspace this time instead of my assets, right? I went to workspace, right? And I went through and I chose a picture that's either under the lifestyle settings or house settings, right? Because I want to swap this out, something specific, right? Remember, pictures tell a story. So be conscious of the pictures that you're using. What type of house is it? What's the setting, right? Workspace is a great vehicle with all kinds of pictures in it. We can go in and customize it. Or you can add things from a file, from your desktop, from Google Dropbox. I know somebody was questioning about that earlier, from my Google Drive. You can use your own pictures and bring them in and swap them out. Customization. Make command, make branding yours. So this is an example of a listing presentation, or a buyer presentation. I keep saying listing, sorry. And what you do is once you've cleaned this up, edited this up, okay, click done, you save it. Call it Dave's template. I spelled that wrong, but I'm going to hit done anyways for the sake of time. Now you have a buyer presentation that's ready to go. Now, can you edit that every time you come in? Sure. Can you make a copy of it and then edit it because you've got one that's a template and then maybe you want to customize it more with their name? You can do that too, right? Because they're all now on your dashboard, right? So if I come all the way back out, so under my dashboard, now I'll see the most recent one that I created was here. I can make a copy, or I could rename it. If I click make a copy because I want to edit it, so I'm making a copy of it and going back into it. I've got 2 of them, right? Right. And I'm just going to click in there, open it. I clicked right on it. There isn't an open under those 3 ellipses. So you just actually click on it. And then here, first name, last name, I'm going to change it for the new client. You know, something like that, right? Whatever their name is, right? See how easy that was? I created a copy, I built it out, I created a template, I made a copy of my template, right? So you have a template, you made it your template, and then you make a copy of your templates to customize for each particular client that you have. Download, print, and go, right? I come back out, up to my home page, don't save. Do the same thing for your listing presentations. Listing presentations, you may copy more, right? Or edit more is what I meant to say. I go on the listing presentation. You see that it looks like the buyer presentation. Lots of different pages that are in there. Just give it a second to load because of the size of the file. Go to template. You'll see all the pages that are available for you to use. Right, there is an instructions page. Don't include that in your presentation. Right. Comparable properties, you may include those, right? Go ahead and upload the pictures, swap those out. I could get those pictures directly from the MLS, right? Because if I knew what the comparable properties were, right? If I knew that that property was 335 Hamilton as a comp, right? I could select that and then I could just quickly edit this to swap that out. See how quickly that is to add comparable properties, right? I went to the KBLS, I quick swapped out pictures and I could very quickly add my 4 comps right here to this page.
One more time, please.
One more time.
Just the way you switch the pictures when you get to there.
Problem, right? So if I knew that from a comparable property standpoint, I had another property address. So first one I used was 335 Hamilton. So I went and grabbed that. So let's choose this one here. I go to KWLS because KWLS is where all the listings live, right? I can go back, change the property that I draw down. And this time I've got 83 Goldfinch. Search for that. Okay, I select it here. Now remember the pictures download and I have to click on the picture in the template first. So I've got my square box around it. Then I hover over the picture that I want to swap it out for and I click that replace and it drops it right in.
Thank you.
And then obviously the text does not swap. So I just have to click on the text, use my typewriter and update the details. I like type. For me, it's easier to type than replacing all that little bit of detail. Just as an example, right? Save changes. All right, now when I come back to my templates, I scroll through a couple more, you'll see what I want you guys to do is go in here and spend some time. Look at the different pages of there. See what pages you like. See what pages you might use. See what pages you might not. And then start building your own, right? And there's a lot of default content in there that's going to be available for you to use, okay? Portfolio excellence, that might be your previous properties that you've sold or future listings that you have. Some of this promise, selling safely, that's what we call evergreen content, which you don't necessarily need to change, but I do recommend you read it first so you feel that it represents you, your region, your business, right? Trust but verify what's going on. And you go through and you build this out. Save it, okay? You'll see all the pages over here on the right side that you have inside of the design element that you're utilizing, or maybe you realize, hey, I don't want to use this particular page, so I can delete it and take it out of there. And you just work from this body here. You've got the ability to draw, add circles, add shapes, add frames, add additional titles or text boxes. Some people are very, very basic and not creative, so they just want to keep to what KW gave them. Other people want to take this up another level and add and frame and box and tweak and color and fill. Again, there's no right or wrong here, folks. Play around with it and make it yours. Okay? You could create one of these things, and I'll give you a clip. There's a thing called Flipbook, and it's a third-party project. You could actually create one of these things, and it turns into like an online display that if you had it on your tablet, you could actually walk it through and flip through on your tablet like you're flipping through on a book. Flipbook. Flip Stack. Is it Flip Stack or Flipbook? I think it might be
No,
Flip Stack.
Flip Snack.
Flip Snack. There you go.
And you can embed it actually into your website also.
Right. You can embed it in your website. You could have a link on your tablet. You can embed it in a website, and it looks like an online book. So build this first, turn it into a PDF, and then utilize Flip Snack and take it to the next level. Right? Good times.
Dave, I just want to mention something. Someone gave me a tip on this too. I had some pages I wanted to add to the listing presentation.
Sure.
And to do it, I had to take it. I took it into DocuSign and did the combine of the documents and DocuSign. Then I downloaded it and then re-uploaded it into Designs.
Okay.
Which was a good workaround for me, so I didn't have to recreate the pages.
Yeah. So I like that you tied the two together because you can upload documents to DocuSign. You can combine them together inside of one PDF, which became multiple pages for you. And then you use the PDF importer, which we didn't play with for the fact of time today, to import pages. But on that home page, when we chose print, you have the ability to do a PDF upload as well. There is one other thing I want to show you, but as you can see, there are hundreds and hundreds of things in here, so you have to spend some time. But underneath lead generation, okay, here under print, at the very bottom says previously personally branded zine. Personally branded zine is a KW provided magazine for free. So you have a listing presentation, you have a buyer presentation, and you have a magazine that gets released once a quarter. So we're due for a new fall edition. The most recent one is the summer edition, okay, Making Memories. And it works just like the buyer and the listing presentation, but it comes in with all kinds of evergreen content around summer or fall or spring or winter that you can print off. Now at the moment, these pages, you have to download and send to a print shop. There's a company called Brandco that I'm working with where we could actually print these things for like $1.50 each. I'm not there yet, but I'm working on it more publishing. But what you would do is download them, either print them yourself or take them to a local print shop. That's fine for listing and buyer presentations, but for the magazine, if you want it to look professional, there's certain stock cover page you want to use. I recommend you go to like a FedEx Kinko's and have them put it together for you. It costs you a little bit more, but these are things that you're swapping out once a quarter that you're either mailing to or dropping off or delivering to your consumers or businesses, doctor's office, dentist's office, all that, right? That table stuff that we all thumb through where we're waiting. We're on time, but they're never on time, right? And we're flipping through. See if you can leave them in your doctor's office and go through and edit this the same way, right? The template pages are there. You'll see that there's a couple different cover pages to choose from. I like that they give you some variety there. Or remember, you could swap out the picture all on your own, right? Maybe you had a killer pool. Imagine this. Maybe you had a killer pool for a community pool, right? Or you had a killer pool from a listing you had, and then you put that as the picture, and that client got the magazine and their property was featured in it. How wicked awesome would that be? Because this is open. If you use something like American Lifestyle Magazine, which is great and is valuable, you don't get a chance to edit that, right? You get very limited control. You get to put your picture on their cover page, which is the same for everybody. You get an intro letter. Their evergreen content is all the same. right? You don't have any personal touches for your business and your world. So you just come through here and you click on these pages. You got a note from the editor. Well, you're the editor. Quarterly review, stats. Here's some of that evergreen content, right? Buyer and seller facts. These aren't things that I'm really going to go in and edit a whole lot. I might swap out a picture if I felt so inclined, but I probably wouldn't. I've got contact info, so you really need to read through these things, right? So look at this, facts and sellers. As your trusted advisor, it's looking for your name here, people. So again, somebody called me and was upset that they did this and they didn't read it, and it had all of these generic text box merge fields that weren't filled in because they didn't go in and personalize it for their brand. So make sure that you read through these things before you go to print. Sometimes it asks you for vendor information. Maybe you have a painter or a contractor, right? Or maybe you just need to delete it because I don't want to put any information in there. Your call, right? But read through these pages. I cannot say that enough. Read through. Inspect what you expect. Anybody heard that before? All right. I'm getting basic here. Trust and verify. Inspect what you expect. If you assume you're going to make a double aspirand example of yourself. Yes? Okay, we ran a little bit long today. Designs is that one of those things that I said it at the top. If you wait to do it to the time that you need it, you're going to have problems. It's going to take you a long time. You're going to get frustrated. You're going to get upset because you didn't do what I'm telling you to do now. Go in there and do something every day. Start tweaking a buyer presentation. Start tweaking a listing presentation. Start playing with the magazine. Start simple. Create an open house flyer. Create a social media flyer. Understand the differences between print and social, right? Play around with the tools. You're a business owner. Act like one. Okay? You've got a lot of support for yourself during the week. 11 o'clock on a Sunday morning, 8 o'clock on a Saturday night, you're going to have a little challenge. Just being real with you because that's what I do. Not saying that we can't help. I'm just saying we're probably not going to be available. So if you know that this weekend you're rolling in, you're doing an open house, you're going to create some flyers, make time with your Market Center Tech Trainer this week to make sure those things are created. Or it's going to take you too long. Okay? YouTube is your friend here too. Search for KW Command Marketing. Search for KW Command Listing Presentation. Search for KW Command Marty Miller. Search for KW Command David Donaldson. Search for KW Command Garrett Stewart. Search for KW Command Jay Sumac. They're all people like me that train, but they do a lot more videos than I do. So anything you're having troubles with, go to answers.kw.com and search. Go to YouTube and search. Don't paralyze yourself. Be an advocate for yourself. Know where to go get help. That's today's class. Tomorrow is campaigns. So tomorrow's class, right? Oh, I didn't update my last slide. So tomorrow's class, we're going to publish some of the things that you guys worked on today. So if you created a video, I'll show you how to share it through campaigns. I'll also show you how to use some of the quick posts from campaigns. I will show you how to post a listing and generate leads through campaigns. In order to do that, you have to have a Facebook business page. The Facebook business page has to be connected to Command. I'll show you where to do that tomorrow, or if you do it today, all the better. You have to have a credit card on file because they would charge your credit card. Can't run an ad if you're not going to pay somebody for it. So those are things that you're going to need to have tomorrow. We'll spend the first couple minutes of each class. If you don't do it already, go to answerskw.com. How do I connect my Facebook business page? How do I add a credit card payment? Be ready to go for tomorrow. Any questions from anybody?
I have one about the magazine.
Okay.
On the magazine, because it's so editable, is it possible to just pull out the sheets we want and use them as individual handouts?
Yes.
Perfect.
Same
Love
with same with listing presence and buyer presentations. That's why ours is so different, right? You can pick and choose what you want. And as Kevin said earlier, you could even add pages, right? You could upload pages.
I love it. Thank you.
Just get comfortable with it, right? Just get comfortable with it. Any other questions on the design elements? You saw how easy it is, but I do understand I've been doing this pretty regular. You got to throw yourself in there, right? Right, Parwin?
Right.
Somebody's playing some music. That was scary stuff. All right, so we are good to go today. I will see you tomorrow. We will jump live into campaigns. But I want you guys to have fun and go play around in designs today, okay? Take care, everybody. Have a wonderful, wonderful afternoon. Somebody's asked about the YouTube training. Ted, would you throw the YouTube? Ted might have been gone. If you go to YouTube, Ted, just throw the YouTube link into chat for me. I screwed up yesterday's class, so I'm backfilling it with a previous class because I didn't record it. Sorry. I blame you guys. You guys have to remind me to hit record. Even though I have it taped and plastered everywhere, I still just jump right into talking and training.
We all screw up at some point.
Heck happens. Ted, I figured you would. Thank you, Teddy. So
I was gonna say, I only had one cup of coffee. I was a little slow. My bad.
That's all right. We should be in the habit of just leading off with those in the beginning. Just throw them in the chat from when we start. All right, so I'm going to close out. I will see you all tomorrow.
Later. Thank you, David.
All right.
Thank you.